Hi, my name is Alicia. I'm from Wilmington, Delaware, and today I will be installing the hitch on your BMW X1.
You will need the tools seen here to complete this installation.
My first step I'll have to do is remove this lower gray fascia, and to do that I'll need to remove 12 screws from the bottom. 4 of them will be plastic clips and the other will be 8mm screws. I'll be taking my cordless power drill to remove the 8mm screws. Once removed, I'll set these aside for reinstallment. Now we're still here on the passenger side. I'll be using my flathead screwdriver to remove the fasteners and also a trim tool remover. First, I'm going to loosen it up just to get a clearance. It can be a little stubborn. The last one here will be on the driver's side that I'll have to remove. And this will be the final one. All right, now I will gently remove this gray area here. And it will just pop off easily. Alright, now that it's off, I'll set this to the side for reinstallment later. My next step is to lower the exhaust. In order to do that, I'll need to remove a wiring harness that's connected to the exhaust. There's a small black clip at the rear that needs to be pressed down. Be gentle not to break it because it's very small. And there you have it. Now that I have removed the clip, I will now take my cordless drill and my 13mm socket, and I will be removing this exhaust hanger using the 13mm on both the passenger and the driver's side. Normally we'll use a stability strap, but it has a support bar here to help with the exhaust hanger. My next step is for me to remove the bumper beam nuts on both the driver and passenger side. Most vehicles come equipped with a sensor beam, and I don't have to remove this because this vehicle does not have it. I'll be using an 18mm. Sometimes I like to use the ratchet just to loosen them up, but I'm going to go ahead and finish it off with my cordless power drill. Now that I have my nuts off, I'll need to remove this heat shield, and by doing that, there are 4 remaining bolts that I need to take off with a 10mm socket. 2, 3, and 4. I'll be using my cordless drill. Once the screws are removed, then I'll be pulling on the heat shield. You'll have to give it a little tug because it's glued to the underbody of the vehicle. Alright, once down, you'll pull back on it and then set it aside. My next step will be to get my hitch in place so it can be used as a template to mark my access hole. Careful on angling it. You need to go under and up. Alright. If these are necessary for you to remove them, if they're on your way, you can remove them. Now that we have the hitch over the bumper beam bolts and in place, I'm going back and put the nut on so that we can secure the hitch before I mark the access points. Once the bolts are secure, I'll then take my black marker and I will mark one dot center to make an accurate hole. We'll follow the same steps for the driver's side. I'm going to center the marker and just make a dot. I marked my point to where I'll be drilling at. Now I'm going to remove the bolts and remove my hitch. Now that I have my markings here, I need to do 1.25 inch hole here using this hole saw. But before I can use this, I need to do a pilot hole. The pilot hole is made. Now I'm going to move over to the passenger side and repeat the same step. Now that I grab my hole saw, I'm going to go ahead and drill into my pilot hole. Now that my hole is created, I'll put this bolt and this spacer into the frame of the vehicle. By doing so, I need to use a fishwiring technique. First, then I'll put the spacer over the fish wire and I'll screw in the bolt. Then I'll take the bolt and insert it into my 1.25 inch hole, followed by the spacer. Once to the side, I pull down on the fish wire. And by doing this, we do that so that the bolt doesn't get lost back into the frame of the vehicle. I'm going to move over to the passenger side and complete the same steps. Okay, now that I have my bolts through, I'll go ahead and put the hitch in position. Before you go all the way up, you take your fish wire and put it through the hitch frame hole there created. You do that on both the passenger and the driver's side before going up. Thread your wire through. Next, I'll take the nut and put it back onto the bumper beam. This one here would take an 18mm socket. The one that I threaded through, this will take a 19. Just wiggle it down, and there it is. I'm going to remove this fish wire off. And then I'll take the tooth washer and I'm going to place it towards the frame of the hitch. Be sure not to push the bolt back into the frame. So you gotta be careful. Alright, that's going to be hand tightened and I'll torque it later. I'm going to complete the same process on the driver's side. Now I'm on the driver's side. I'll take my 18mm nut and place it back on the frame, which I'll hand tighten for now. I'll go ahead and pull my fish wire through, and I'll remove this. You can either twist it off or pull down on it. Just don't pull too hard where your bolt goes back up. Again, we have the tooth washer. You'll place upward facing towards the hitch, and then your 19mm nut. Now I'll be removing my exclusive hitch jack. If you don't have one of these or a friend or help in need, you can come see me, Alicia, and I'll be sure to lend a helping hand. Now I'll be taking my U-Haul torque wrench and I'll be setting this at 75 foot-pounds to torque it. I'll go ahead and set it at 75 pounds. Alright, lock it into place. I'll be starting on the driver's side. And this is the 18 millimeter. You'll continue this until you hear this click. Alright. Switch over to get comfortable. So you hear your click. Alright. Now over to the passenger side. I'll switch back over to my 18. Follow the same steps. Just switch over here. This can be a little workout. Okay. Switch back over to your 19. Alright, the hitch is all secure. My next step would be to replace the heat shield back. Now that I'm ready to put the heat shield back on, trimming is required. A 1/2 inch from the bend of the heat shield is required forward towards this line here that I previously created. Draw a 1/2 inch line from the center of this hole down to this line I already created, going across so that I can make a complete cut. Alright, I have my air saw here. I'll be using this to cut the line I drew on the heat shield. Make sure the blade is facing downward. As you can see, this piece here will get discarded. Then I will make my final cut going down this line here that I created. I'll take these two pieces that I cut out and I will be reinstalling these back onto the frame of the vehicle. All right, now I'm going to take the heat shield and place it back into the space closer towards the front of the vehicle, but I noticed I have a little difficulty because the hitch bracket is in place. So this will require some additional trimming. I'll trim along this edge of it as well as this edge. Alright, by trimming that, I'm ready to put it back in place. I'm hand tightening first and then I'll use my electric socket. Alright, once up, take the electric drill socket and tighten. Before I go ahead and reinstall the other piece of the heat shield, I need to put the lower bumper back into place first. This just snaps right back into place. I'm going to stand up so I can make sure. My next step would be for me to put the heat shield in place, and then I'll start plugging in my 12 fasteners that once was removed. Heat shield will go under. Can pull back on it just a little bit to get it up and under. To line up the holes properly. Go under and up. Make sure all your holes are lined up properly. Remember, just pull back on it gently. Alright, now that I lined up my heat shield, I'm going to put the fasteners back in place, starting with the passenger side. And now the last one on the driver's side. My next step will be for me to tighten all the bolts down using my electric socket. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up by putting the exhaust back into place. Hand tighten first. This is the driver's side, and I'll do the same to the passenger side. Following the same steps, put this back into place. And I'll be putting back the 13mm. I'll be hand tightening it first. Okay. Now I'll do the same for the driver's side. My last and final step will be to plug back in the exhaust clip that I removed before. And it would be this small clip here. It just clips right into a piece on the exhaust. Alright, that would do it for your BMW X1 hitch install. The hitch sits directly below the rear bumper, and your cross tube is completely hidden. Thanks for watching our video. Have fun and be safe. If you're looking to get your hitch installed, come see Alicia in Wilmington. Thank you.
To learn more about the products seen in this video, or to schedule an installation by a U-Haul Hitch professional, visit us online today at uhaulhitches.com.